Hello and welcome to a new episode. Well, actually today I learned many things, but the first one that I wanted to share is about rats. So what is it about rats that was fascinating? So actually it's an experience that was done in the field of psychology, and it's related to how rats plays. So basically what they did was to take a rat, can be like a small rat or a big rat, and they put them together to play. And what they've noticed is like if there is like a small rat and a big rat playing together, they noticed that if the big rat keeps winning, then there is something that fascinating that changes, which is when they put them back together, it is kind of the role of the small rat to start the game. To me, it was fascinating. This discovery was really fascinating. But even more interestingly, they looked at how many times a small rat could eventually play and how many times the big rat, like if he wins too much, the games like kind of start to become boring and they don't play anymore. And they found out that like the percentage was like 30%. So if the small rat and the big rat plays together and they have like 30%, if the big rat doesn't let the small rat win 30% of the time, the small rat doesn't want to play anymore. And this is really fascinating to me, because I was just thinking about playing games in terms of like life and how many games we play every day in our lives. It can be from work, going to the gym, and whenever we set ourselves like a very high skyrocketed goal limit and we never can reach it, then obviously we will not participate in that game anymore. And so I feel like this experience also, well, there is something to infer from the experience as well, which is there is kind of a morality between rats in this case, and they have this neural circuit about play, and I think that it was really fascinating. So that was the first piece of the cake. Well, the second one is about my gym session today. So I don't know if you know, but I am into an experience. I'm experimenting less caffeine, and I can tell you like my mornings has been like drastically transformed. Like I'm unable to start my brain in the morning, but anyway, in the afternoon I was like having some negative thoughts again. Like I was inside this session and I was like, oh, what exercise should I be doing? I should be doing this program. And it was like just from a friend who sent me like his program. It was neat and really clearly organized, and so all he has to do was like to follow up the program instead of thinking about the program, right? And I was thinking for a moment that maybe I should be doing that. But then I remembered that I have been doing some experiments with my training schedule and also the way I train. And so by just reminding myself that I am in the gym, so it doesn't really matter what type of exercise I do. As far as I commit to my goal, which is being in the gym twice a week or 3 times, that's the most important thing. Well, I think I start overthinking about how many tasks should I be doing. If I draw a parallel between this and some types of work, sometimes I feel like I cannot like over-engineer some work, which means in which order should I be doing this, or how should I tackle this problem instead of just starting. And most of the time, like one of my biggest realization this last 6 months is most of the tasks takes more time than what we plan for them. And so allocating like 2 to 3 hours to an important task ends up usually with better results than simply giving like 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. I think that planning sessions, like if everything is planned beforehand, and you know exactly what you can do in 30 minutes, and you know what you should be doing, or you are just starting something, it's really good to set up this time limit. Start slowly and building up, but like in general, like tasks and work or workouts, a lot of things takes more time than what I think it takes. And so I wanted to share this observation because then I felt a huge relief by just observing how my calendar is built into blocks of 2 hours. Instead of thinking like about all my to-do lists, it just brings me anxiety to look at how many things I have in my backlog. But when I think about my day in terms of like I have 4 sessions of 2 hours, for example, or like 4 sessions of 3 hours, for example, I feel like in general the first thought that I usually have about my day is kind of better, because when I'm like doubting myself or thinking I'm not doing the right thing, all I tell myself is that, well, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, which is to spend 2 hours into this task, with some breaks, of course. And so it's kind of liberating to not think in terms of like lists of tasks that never ends, and actually simply looking into how many blocks of hours, I would say range of hours or time range. It depends on like how the day goes. But one rule that I have founded for myself, and it's been really working well, which is there is one ultimate goal in the year, and I try to spend like 2 to 3 hours per day on it. And sometimes even if like I'm depressed or I have some anxiety from life or whatever, it doesn't matter, because if I don't do it in the morning, I still can do it in the afternoon. If not in the afternoon, it's in the evening. And so I kind of set this baseline in order to reduce high expectations, especially if it's a big dream, it's a big goal. So I want to be able to do it in terms of like a marathon. It's a very long race, so I want to be consistent doing things in a daily way. So I hope these stories were useful. This is what I have learned today, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you for being here. Hoping that you like the video, and subscribe to the channel, please. And I will see you soon.